Evan's Journey to Life, The Soul of Fear, Day 35. As mentioned in the previous post, we're walking how we as blame within ourselves in the beginning to the evolution of ourselves as the mind and the creation of ourselves as the world system of money, within and as the deliberate nature and action of ourselves as spite, excuse, and justification, have deliberately suppressed the evidence as consequence of our existence as energy authority in deifying ourselves into godliness and defying actual life authority into an as ungodliness, where to this day we see the consequence of ourselves as mind and world system of energy and money in our physical bodies and this physical existence, but deliberately not see our individual responsibility to our relationship as the mind to the physical and the world system of money to this physical existence. To understand how we as blame, within and as spite, excuse, and justification, protect and defend our existence and survival as energy, and deliberately not see and face the consequence we create and manifest in this. First, have to understand fear, energy as fear, and how fear became our consciousness that has manifested the acceptance and allowance of our existence as energy authority to life and substance as existence as a whole. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to, in the beginning, from and of my initial conception of separation to and towards substance and existence manifested friction and conflict that consumed substance into negative energy experience from and of my external formation as manifested singularity, where the negative energy experience reverberated and rippled as accumulated into my beingness within my manifested singularity, which consumed my beingness into an as neutral energy experience awareness, and from here accumulated into an as positive energy experience, where because I conceive as defined, I conceived as defined my who, what, and how I am as energy. My awareness as energy shifted from the negative to the neutral and to the positive. In this shifting of and as energy awareness, I separated my awareness as energy to only exist within and as the positive energy experience of and as the more of me as energy. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to, for me to maintain and sustain my positive energy experience awareness of and as the more of me as my possession and possessing as survival of and as myself as energy. I continued accepting and allowing my nature and action within and as blame, as deliberate spite, excuse, and justification, deifying me as energy authority, as life, blasphemizing actual life as substance manifest, in and as my beingness and manifested singularity, as substance manifest, in the nature and action of me as excusing life authority for energy authority, as me to assert myself just to survive and continue existing. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how, in this process of shifting my awareness into and as energy as the negative, neutral, and positive, my only purpose and responsibility as energy came into existence as possessing me as energy and surviving as energy within and through the nature and action relationship of me as energy to and towards substance as blame, within and as deliberate spite, excuse, and justification, manifested as deliberate manipulation, abuse, and misuse of substance in life, excusing life authority for energy authority to exist, as consuming substance to transform into energy, justified as defying life and deifying energy, through and as deliberate friction and conflict, spite, for the survival and rewarding of me as energy and positive energy experience awareness. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to manifest the purpose and responsibility of me as energy, to only possess me as energy with the nature of that possession as survival, within and through the nature and action of and as the entirety of me as blame, within and as spite, excuse, and justification. In this, only manifested my responsibility to me as energy survival, and separated me from my responsibility to and as all as me as substance and existence manifest. In this accepted and allowed separation from and of responsibility to and as life and living as substance manifest, to possession and survival of and as me as energy within and as the nature and action of blame through spite, excuse, and justification, Deifying me as energy and defying life as substance manifest, I asserted my authority to such an extent where I would accept and allow any and all abuse, misuse, and manipulation as negative energy experience, friction, and conflict for me as energy to survive and possess me, because the friction and conflict as negative energy experience is the only way and means and method within and through which I attain and accumulate my positive energy experience. And therefore, from this moment, my entire existence would exist within the starting point responsibility and purpose of possession and survival of me as energy within and as the nature and act of me as blame, through spite, excuse, and justification. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to accept and allow such an existence of me as energy, to and towards substance and life manifest, that I reasoned as valid and necessary for me as energy to possess me, and so survive and continue existing. And because I deified me as energy authority into godliness, and life authority as substance and existence manifest into ungodliness, it made it easier to accept and allow myself to in and as blame, spite, excuse, and justification continue with my existence as deliberate manipulation, abuse, and misuse of substance and life, excusing life authority for energy authority to exist, as consuming substance to transform into energy, justified as defying life and deifying energy, through and as deliberate friction and conflict, spite, for the survival and rewarding of me as energy and positive energy experience awareness. In this, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that what of me as energy authority is maintaining and sustaining this relationship of me to and towards substance and life manifest to this day as the mind and energy authority relationship to the physical body and the world system of money's authority relationship to this physical existence is my starting point, purpose, and responsibility of possession and survival as energy and mind and money authority that can and does only exist within my assertion of me as energy and mind and money authority being godly, and the rest of existence as my physical body, this physical existence as substance manifest being ungodly. In this godly deifying of me as energy authority, and defying of life authority as substance manifest into and as ungodliness, within and as me as blame as the nature and action of me as spite, excuse, and justification, giving me thus the authority over and of physicality and substance manifest, and deeming it my servant, to do with it as I please, for my pleasure as consuming substance and physicality, to transform into energy, for my pursuit of pleasuring me as energy, into and as positive energy experience awareness. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to, in and as this energy authority relationship to and towards life authority as substance manifest that which make me as energy possession and survival possible, less than me and inferior to me, when it's in fact all in reverse. I, as energy authority, am in fact less than and inferior life authority as substance manifest, because I only exist to the evolution of myself as positive energy experience, and have to diminish the nature and action of me to blame within and as spite, excuse, and justification, to possess me as energy and to survive as energy, existing as possession and survival within blame as spite, excuse, and justification, instead of existing and living here in and as equality and oneness with and as life and substance manifest, within eternal expression and creation. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how the moment in my beingness and manifested singularity in my first experience of me as energy awareness from the negative to the neutral and to the positive, where in that one position and location within existence, my positive energy experience awareness started diminishing and lessening to the neutral and to the negative. How this moment was the birth of the substance of me as energy as fear, because in that moment I perceived and believed I lost my positive energy experience awareness, and so had to go find, search, and seek my positive energy experience awareness, which I did within and as my movement and motion forward for my reward as energy within and as the starting point of me as negative energy experience that initiated and instigated the movement, and as I moved forward for my reward in and as the starting point of fear as negative energy experience, the energy consumed deeper into my beingness, manifest singularity, and existence manifest. And in that consumption accumulated my energy awareness from the negative to the neutral and to the positive. Thus, my starting point of and as survival, as possession of me as energy, as positive energy, experience awareness, stood within and as fear, within and as the action and nature of me as blame, through deliberate spite, excuse, and justification, to continue surviving as possessing me as energy. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to, throughout time, exist within and as fear of losing my positive energy experience awareness, of and as me as the possession and survival of me as energy awareness. And in and as this fear of loss, accepted and allowed myself to accept and allow my relationship to substance and life manifest within and as the nature and action of me as blame, through spite, excuse, and justification, within the starting point of me as friction and conflict, negative energy experience, for me as energy to possess me and survive as me. Thus, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that my very nature and action of me as blame within and as spite, excuse, and justification, as deliberate manipulation, abuse, and misuse of substance and life, excusing life authority for energy authority to exist, as consuming substance to transform into energy, justified as defying life and deifying energy, through and as deliberate friction and conflict, spite, for the survival and rewarding of me as energy and positive energy experience awareness, only exist within and as fear. Fear of losing me and my authority and survival and possession as energy, and so will and have throughout time deliberately accepted and allowed my relationship as energy to substance and life as blame, within and as spite, excuse, and justification of and as fear, as the godly relationship and authority of energy to the ungodliness of life and substance manifest, for me as energy to survive and possess me as energy. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that me as energy, apparently being godly and authoritative, is just a cover up, when the truth of my existence as energy is in fact fear, and will continue accepting and allowing the relationship of deliberate consumption and consequence to and towards substance and life manifest, to protect and defend that fear, through and as blame within, and as spite, excuse, and justification, to not lose me as energy. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that the only authority I as energy in fact have is the authority of possession as accumulation of me as energy, and power of consumption through deliberate blame within and as spite, excuse, and justification, that is empowered into and as godliness through and as deliberate friction and conflict, as negative energy experience, as the existence of me as energy in protecting and defending my possession and survival of and as energy. Forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to accept and allow me to create myself as energy as fear, existing only to possess and survive me as energy within and as the nature and action of me as blame, within and as spite, excuse, and justification, serving only my interest and pursuit of happiness as survival and possession of energy, making my existence and purpose and responsibility only to me, myself, and I as energy, possession, and survival. In this, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how I will thus not and cannot have any concern, regard, and consideration for any other part of me within and as existence as substance manifest, because the fear as energy possess me as my possession of and as my survival as energy to such an extent that I will continue existing to and towards all and everything and everyone in and as deliberate blame of spite, excuse, and justification, to protect and defend my survival and possession of and as energy, and will thus, within this, continue accepting and allowing my nature and action of blame, within and as spite, excuse, and justification, as deliberate manipulation, abuse, and misuse of substance and life, excusing life authority for energy authority to exist, as consuming substance to transform into energy, justified as defying life and deifying energy, through and as deliberate friction and conflict, spite, for the survival and rewarding of me as energy and positive energy experience awareness, both within myself and the without as myself to ensure my continued possession and survival as energy. We'll continue in the next post with how this fear manifested as a presence within our unconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind as consciousness that manifested into and as our entire minds, protecting and defending our action and nature of blame within and as spite, excuse, and justification, where this fear became a force, presence, and entity that took control and authority over and of our awareness as energy. And it is this fear that suppressed us into not seeing, realizing, and understanding the consequences of ourselves as energy authority over and of the physical body and its physical existence. In this, how essentially our beingness became that of fear for survival and possession, and completely programmed our minds and consciousness in that starting point, and how we deliberately use blame within and as spite, excuse, and justification to protect and defend that fear. Instead of us standing up for life and equality and oneness, we fall into the protection and defense of fear as a survival and possession of ourselves as energy. I commit myself to, through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application, assist and support me and as my process of transforming my mind and consciousness existence, of and as fear as survival and possession, within and as the nature and action of me as blame, within and as deliberate spite, excuse, and justification, into and as a living being, equal to and one with the living flesh as my human physical body, to birth me as eternal life from and of the physical. I commit myself to assist and support myself within and during writing self-forgiveness and self-corrective application, not accept and allow myself to give into resistance, postponement, apathy, laziness, as I see, realize, and understand that such constructs are in fact protection and defense mechanisms of manipulation within and as the starting point of fear, of consciousness, and the mind, to protect and defend its survival and continued existence, for me not to change and transform me from energy survival to physical living of and as equality and oneness with and as the physical, as this change and transformation would mean the end of energy and the beginning of life, and the energy will fight for its survival at the cost of life and physicality and substance manifest. But I decide to live and no more accept and allow an inferior and limited existence of survival as energy, but to stand as life expression in and as equality and oneness with and as my physical body, and so this physical existence. I commit myself to, through writing self-forgiveness and self-corrective application, assist and support myself to reestablish life and physical authority within and as my physical body, and so this physical existence, to no more accept and allow myself to be controlled, manipulated, and directed by energy as consciousness within fear of and for survival and possession, but to in fact live and stand up for and as life and physicality as substance manifest, so that we can stop, firstly within ourselves and then the without as ourselves, our accepted and allowed natures and actions of blame, within and as spite, excuse, and justification, of and as fear for possession and survival, of and as energy and money, that we've accepted and allowed to manipulate, abuse, and misuse physicality and life manifest. I commit myself to show, reveal, and expose the true nature of energy consciousness, mind, money authority, as the fraudulent God it in fact is within this existence, that exists only in and as fear, to survive and to possess only itself within and as the deliberate nature and action of blame as spite, excuse, and justification, that has manipulated, abused, and misused the actual God and life as the physical body and this physical existence, so that all energy gods can humbly step down to the equality and oneness of the physical and start the process of standing equal to and one with physicality as life, substance manifest, to stop our internal and external consequences of manipulation, abuse, and misuse of physicality and life, and start the process of in fact birthing and creating life and living in ourselves and this existence as ourselves.